What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Final Fantasy 16 gameplay for you. And today I'm going to be going over a video that I felt like I had to make eventually. I didn't know when I was going to do it, but having beaten the game, gone through the main story and done all the quests, I felt like this is definitely something I have to go through and make a video discussing about. Now I will say this right now, there will be some spoilers in this video, so if you've not beaten the game, please turn off right now, because I don't want to have anyone accusing me of, oh, you ruined this, that, and the other. I've warned you already, so without further ado, let's get into it. First off, I just want to say I really enjoyed my playthrough of Final Fantasy 16. I love the story. I definitely was completely invested in the story from beginning to end. I enjoyed the characters, a lot of lovable, enjoyable, cool characters. I definitely loved the battle system. I had a lot of fun with it. The boss fights were sometimes too good for their own good. They were just absolutely just a spectacle to watch, all and play against. There's a few other things that I could call nitpicks with, I guess you can say. I wish the, hunts were a little bit more elaborate. I wish, I don't want to get too much into the side quests, that's going to get to another underlying point with this main video, but for the most part, side quests I think have been done a lot better. There are some really good ones, but where they're placed in this whole thing is kind of weird and unusual. But I'll get to that more later on. I wish we had more. I wish we actually explored the bigger cities more. It's like you only there for like a mission, and then you just can't ever go back. You just see them in the background. There's really not that like big, massive like city like some of the kingdoms you can explore and whatnot. I wish we had more of that. But the rest of the stuff, you can argue about, the lore, the overabundance of it. It is a Final Fantasy game, so none of that stuff was ever going to bother me. But, and that's why I clicked on this video. There is one thing that did bother me, and it frustrated me in this game. And I'll be honest with you, I've never encountered this in a JRPG before. Like, never. And I played a lot. Even ones I didn't quite care for didn't have this problem. This is the first time I've ever had a problem like this. And it's weird because I can never just theorize a JRPG doing this. And the part that really worries me is I barely hear anyone really talking about it. Like, they'll mention it, but not in the right reasons, or they'll go in the wrong direction with it. But this one thing really frustrated me. Its lack of. So, without further ado, let me get into the one big problem Final Fantasy 16 has, and that is the lack of party camaraderie within the entirety of the game. So typically, what happens in a JRPG is you'll start out with a main character, you'll start the story of the game, and you'll meet a person, and that person may have interests that align with your main character, and they'll team up and they'll have some good moments. You'll learn about each other, and then over time you'll meet another person, and that person will team up with the first two, and you'll see how those three characters get along. Maybe they don't trust each other. Maybe you'll see how they grow to trust each other over time, and they'll meet four, and then four becomes five and six, etc., etc. But the point is, you'll get an established group, and through cutscenes and side quests and just pure bonding moments, you learn how all these characters evolve and change as the course of the story. And that's something that's always been a staple of basically any JRPG I've ever played. But this one, it's kind of a first for me. I've never played a JRPG that just did this. And it's weird because it's just everything feels so disconnected. Like typically is how this game goes. You'll start out with Clive, and for the most part, there's a lot of sections where you're playing by yourself, but then you'll meet a person. Say you meet Sid, and you'll team up with Sid, and you have some good moments with Sid. As I said, there's good moments one-on-one with one other character. This game definitely excels at that. But then you get to a point where, then you'll have Jill come along, and then Sid will go away, so you just partner up with Jill, and you're thinking, hey, this is nice too. You have good moments with Clive and Jill. Why can't I get all three of them? Well, then you'll get all three of them, but then wink, wink, the one time you do get all three of them, unfortunately, poor Sid only lasts that one mission because, unfortunately, he dies pretty early on. So it's like, oh, damn, I don't get that third other person. So then you'll be playing again, and you'll have Jill for a while, and then, something happens, and Jill will go away, and then Clive will be playing by himself. And, Jill will come back and whatnot. Then, all of a sudden, you encounter Joshua, and you'll be like, oh, am I going to have Joshua and Jill at the same time. That'd be cool, but of course, unfortunately, it's just a small, short segment that comes and goes, and then you lose, Jill for a little while, and then you just have Josh with you, and then you get to a point where you have Gav and Josh, but once again, it's a short segment, and you lose both of them for a little while, then you go back to Josh, and it's just like my point is like, why is it that whenever you get more than like another person, you get two, it's for these short segments? Why can't I just have, so many great moments where I have, Jill, Joshua, obviously Sid didn't passed away, so he can't be with the party too long, but, Gav, Gav's another person who's very integral to the story. He's in there so many times, but he's not with you a lot of times. He's just, you'll see him when you go back to the hideout, and he'll pop in a mission or two, I mean, just, that's it, he's gone. Or maybe have the uncle, the uncle, could have been in there. Wouldn't it be cool to have all these moments where you have these characters bonding and learning together? Dion's another character who, honestly, I think Dion's probably the most shafted characters in this game. I'll just go on and say it. He has, in my opinion, by far the best boss fight in this game, but outside that boss fight, he's not in this game a lot. He just pops up and shows up whenever he wants, but it just goes to show you, like, whenever you have these moments with these characters, they think, oh, this is going to be really cool. It's like they take it away. It's like you can only have moments with Clive and one other person. Whenever you have moments plus another person, it's like it's very short-lived. So short-lived, you blink, you'll miss it, and then it's just gone. Like, typically, the best moments, I think, in a lot of JRPGs are just having moments where you bond. I know it seems cliche, but sitting around the campfire and just, talking about what's going on in the story. Maybe a side quest, or maybe having something to enhance the whole lore within the core group. There's a lot of lore-enhancing moments in this game, but you never feel like you have moments with that core essential group. I feel like they give more lore to the NPCs that never, like, assist you in battle, like the people back at the hideout that always stay at the hideout, than you do actually the people that fight alongside you. It's just weird as hell. It's just, I've never been so disconnected, because once again, I like these characters, but man, it's like they don't give them enough time to do anything as a group. Like, how would the uncle, pair up with, the two brothers and Jill, and like, having other people come along, Dion or Gav, like, how would that whole team, like, work at the same time? Would they clash? Would they have some fun banter? Or, just having other moments. And I just wish we had more moments outside of just, Clive with one person. Maybe the other characters, how they, mess with each other outside of the main character. But it seems so anti just team. My favorite moment of this game, and I'm being very sarcastic when I say it, is this moment here when you're about to get to the last Mother Crystal. You're getting overwhelmed by a bunch of enemies, and all of a sudden, the ship busts through, and you have, Jill, you have Dion, you have Gav, and you have everyone. You're like, oh yeah, I can finally get to play with a team. I get to actually team up. We're actually going to have a great team, and it got me all like excited. Like, oh my goodness, we're finally going to have maybe, moments where we can like bond as a group on the field of battle and stuff like that, and It basically is, Admiral Akbar once said, it's a trap. It is basically a trap. The only purpose of this whole scene, even though it is a touchy scene to watch, the only purpose of this scene is just so you can have Goots basically, sell items to you in case you need items for your next encounter. Because immediately after this whole scene, you basically separate it again. It's just like, what is the point? Like, why do you keep... Anytime you just have more than like one other person, you keep having a something happen. Someone gets teleported or something. It's like you never have these moments where, as I said, you sit around a group and have a lengthy conversation. Stuff grows and changes. It's very rare in this game. Like, this scene probably has the most party camaraderie amongst characters that really actually matter than probably any other scene in the entire game. And it's sad, because this is really, like, late. Like, this is, like, pretty much endgame. And even after this, you still don't get it. Like, you never get that stuff. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have all these characters in a group for a lengthy amount of time, see how they change and develop? And because you have so many moments, so many, see how, they all take in each other. You can see more the friendship between Dion and Joshua. You could see maybe how Dion and Jill would take with each other. You can see how Gav would... interject and stuff and add a sense of humor into the thing. And hell, you could have had the uncle there too. but you never get that. And I've never had a JRPG that's ever gave me that feeling, because once again, I like all these characters. They're interesting characters, but outside of Clive, when if that one character he's with is with him or something, you never get it as like a group. The best you get is just moments like this where he just speaks to everybody. But it's like, why can't we have like a main interpart group like there on the field of play, the field of battle, not just speak to the hideout, leave, speak to the hideout, leave. It's really frustrating. And the last point I want to bring up is, I mentioned earlier, was side quests. And a lot of people have brought up that, hey, the side quests aren't, a lot of them aren't really that great. And I don't think it's that they're not great. The end ones are definitely the better ones. It's just I feel like they waste so much time going over lore, over exposition for a lot of characters that a lot of us aren't going to give two craps about. And I feel like what would have been better for these side quests is, I feel like the characters we didn't care about too much, a lot of people you meet in the cities, they get more quests about them than the major characters that should be along with us in the party, like the Joshuas, the Dions, the Jills, the Gavs, the Uncle. But we never get those moments. You get like a quest for some of them at the end, but why are we getting a quest? We should be getting multiple quests for all these characters. So it'd be like, if you want like the final quest for these characters, you have to do all the other quests before that involve them. So it's kind of like a string. So you string from the beginning, middle, the end of the game. Now, that only makes sense. But another thing I've noticed about these side quests is, not only do they not involve a lot of the side characters that should be in these characters a lot, like I said, the Jills, the Gavs, the Dions, the Joshuas, and stuff like that. Why is it that whenever you do these quests, even if you do have a character accompanying you, you always see it with like Clive? Everything is just Clive. It's basically, it's like the whole story is basically like you're not alone. But half the time I feel alone, because it's like you never even see the character. Sometimes these cutscenes, it's just Clive. Why not have a lot of side quests that involve your party there, or your team, or whoever is traveling alongside you? It's so anti this. It's funny because it's just like, this is so like taboo and criminal for any JRPG. Like, you always have your team there, or your people. It's like you have this whole hideout, and I just feel like half the time you're just by yourself. I mean, everyone else is just either not there or invisible. It's just, I've never played a JRPG like that. It's really frustrating. And as I said, I love this game. It has the highest of highs, but man, it has some of the most frustrating lows. And I've never had a JRPG that really did that to me. But that is my biggest problem I have, but that is also my opinion. Let me know what your guys' opinion is. What is the most frustrating part for you in Final Fantasy 16? And let me know down in the comment section down below. But that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.
Jill.
It's time, isn't it?